This is the entire Amazing Digital Circus Iceberg, and today we're going to be going over every level, with each level covering more and more obscure and dark knowledge about the show, starting with the surface. The pilot episode for the Amazing Digital Circus was released on October 13th of 2023, and it was instantly a hit, with at the time of recording this video having over 300 million views. This show became so popular, in fact, that just off of one episode, it won the Annie Awards. Gooseworks. If you didn't know, Gooseworks is the creator of the Amazing Digital Circus. But if you're not a diehard fan, you may be confused because the Amazing Digital Circus is uploaded to Glitch's YouTube channel. This is because Gooseworks writes all the scripts and has the creative vision for the show, while Glitch does the animation and post-production work. They do it like this because this show takes a lot of time and money to be done the right way, so Gooseworks needed to reach out to have her vision for the show done correctly. Pre-pilot trailers. This is referring to all of the character introduction videos and trailers we've gotten for the Amazing Digital Circus. Now, if you don't know, the Amazing Digital Circus was teased almost a year before it actually came out, with the first teaser video called A New Era coming out on January 27, 2023. This video introduced news for murder drones and their vision for a change in indie animation, but most importantly, it gave us our first peek into what the Amazing Digital Circus would look like. Glitch Productions. Glitch Productions is the indie animation studio in charge for animating and breathing life into the Amazing Digital Circus. They have been around since 2017, but at that time they were known as Glitchy Boy, and only changed their name to Glitch Productions in 2018. They also work on other popular shows like Murder Drones, SMG4, and Meta Runner. If it weren't for this company, the Amazing Digital Circus and all of these other shows simply wouldn't exist. Digital Circus Wiki. The Amazing Digital Circus Wiki is a website where any and all Amazing Digital Circus facts and trivia are held. There's pages on almost anything, from Pomni to the Gloink Queen. There are also a lot of people who contribute to these pages to make sure that they have all kinds of important and up-to-date facts. AI. My guess is this is referring to how Kane and most of the side characters we see in the show are NPCs, and Kane is the AI ringmaster controlling everything that happens in the circus. Actually, as a matter of fact, everyone in the Amazing Digital Circus is AI besides the main cast of the circus, which are humans who are trapped in this world and have no way to leave. The Gloink Queen. The Gloink Queen is another one of Kane's NPCs that appears for a little bit in the pilot episode. The reason for the Gloink Queen's appearance is because of Kane's mission he sent the members of the circus on in the pilot episode called Gather the Gloinks. Then, later in the episode, the Gloinks captured Zooble, prompting Kanger and Gingle to go try to rescue her from the Gloink Queen. Abstraction. Abstraction is what happens in the Amazing Digital Circus when one of the circus members fully loses their humanity and go crazy, causing them to become an abstracted monster. When a circus member becomes abstracted, they will become violent and lose any semblance of a human being. They will also begin attacking and destroying things. We see Kaufmo, who was replaced by Pomni, become abstracted in the first episode, and after he's caught by Kane, he gets sent to the cellar, where we see many other abstracted characters. 90s education aesthetic. The 90s education aesthetic refers to the way that the Amazing Digital Circus is portrayed throughout the pilot episode. We first see it open up with a pixelated text card and graphics reminiscent of early 3D graphics in the early 90s. If we take a look inside of the circus, it's not exactly the most detailed and is actually quite empty besides a few basic structures, which would suggest that it's not a high-level game at that. Also, when Pomni looks at what is insinuated to be her desk, we see an old computer, and this computer likely came from the early to mid-90s. Also, if we take a look at the whole show, everything is colorful and simple, which is pretty much how 90s educational games were. The main theme. The main theme refers to the Amazing Digital Circus's iconic theme song that plays numerous times throughout the show. This song was composed by Gooseworks herself, and it was even recently put on a vinyl that they sell with the rest of the episode's music, and they sell this on their merch store. The tent. The tent is the area in the Amazing Digital Circus that we see the most of. Its exterior features yellow and red stripes. On the inside is where most of the first episode occurs. It's actually quite huge and has a huge middle room, hallways and various doors leading to basically nowhere, and even an entire underground area where the Gloink Queen lives. But I'm sure there's still a lot of this tent that we haven't seen. The grounds. The grounds refers to the entire entire area where everything is located in the Amazing Digital Circus. This is where the tent, the digital lake, and everything in the main area is located. The cellar. The cellar is the area in the Amazing Digital Circus where abstracted characters go. There's not much info about it, but what we do know is that there are many abstracted characters there, including Kaufmo. It also seems that Kane can access it from anywhere in the circus using his magic. The Void. The Void is white space outside the grounds. Kane tells Pomni that all that's in the Void is undeveloped area, and that he's shy or anxious about letting the other members see his unfinished work. But it's widely speculated that there's actually something much deeper going on here that we don't know about. I believe that the Void could possibly be the keys for how to escape the digital circus, and Kane just doesn't want Pomni to find that out. Exit doors. The exit door is what's shown to us multiple times in the first episode of the Amazing Digital Circus. As soon as Pomni enters the Amazing Digital Circus once the intro starts, the first thing she does is chase an exit door, which then disintegrates right in front of her. Although in the episode, Pomni sees this red exit door taunting her and tempting her to go inside of it. No one else in the Amazing Digital Circus can see the exit door though, except for Kaufmo, who is known to have apparently seen it because it's painted on his wall along with the demented drawings of Kane and many other disturbing drawings. I'm not sure yet why Kaufmo and Pomni can't both see them, but I think both of them have some sort of special ability that the rest of the circus cast doesn't. Anyways, when Pomni finally goes through the door, instead of going through, she is met with long winding office rooms, incredibly reminiscent of the hit game The Stanley Parable. And when she sees the office, she starts going crazy and leaves going into the Void, where she is retrieved by Kane and brought back to the digital circus. It turns out that the exit doors were only made by Kane because he knew how much the cast wanted an exit, but Kane didn't know how to let them leave, so he didn't know where to make the exit door end at. Trapped in a video game. This is the theory that all of the Amazing Digital Circus characters are trapped in a video game. When Pomni first arrives in the circus, she mentions that she put on a VR headset and then arrived at the circus, but she doesn't remember much else besides that. This is why people believe that the Amazing Digital Circus takes place in a video game, because they put the VR headset on to get there in the first place. Exdetica. Exdetica is the name that would have been given to Pomni before Kane respun the name picker. There's actually more to Exdetica that meets the eye. If we shift all of the letters back in this word 9 letters back throughout the alphabet, you get the word owit, or ow. What's even more interesting is if you read the letters above Exdetica, we see the letters P, N, C, M, M, and if we shift those back 9 letters, we get the word gitted, or get. So altogether, the secret message that we are given is get out. Gooseworks has commented on the term Exdetica before, saying that Dedica is an inside joke with her friends, and she added an X to the beginning just to make it harder to pronounce. But unless this is an insane coincidence, I don't believe that for a second. Fan art. Fan art is any art made by a fan that is not an official artist. Ever since the creation of the Amazing Digital Circus, there's been a massive amount of fan art created about it, ranging from being created with passion and love for the show to whatever this is. While most fan art is appreciated by the show's creators, weird fan art and sexual content is usually looked down upon, and rightfully so. You parasite! You parasite is a phrase that Kane shouts at Bubble after they continually frustrate him throughout the first day in the pilot episode. I'm not sure if Bubble being a parasite has any actual significance to the show's plot or some kind of hidden meaning, but Bubble is irritating, so I say let Kane go off. Kane hates adult content. Kane shows his disdain for adult content in the new Season 1 trailer for the Amazing Digital Circus. We see him showing Pomni how famous the Amazing Digital Circus has gotten, and then he shows Pomni an image search with everything blurred out. Kane even tells Pomni that she made a little crying mark on the internet with her little crying face, and that it is only gonna get a lot worse from here due to their actions. The Amazing Digital Circus is an isekai. The Amazing Digital Circus is widely joked about being an isekai, which is a genre anime where a character is thrown into a strange and unfamiliar world, which is exactly what happens to Pomni. This is even referenced in a soundtrack of the first episodes, with one of the songs comedically being named Get Isekai'd, so obviously this was done on purpose. Christian symbolism. Some of the Amazing Digital Circus can be interpreted as symbolic of the Christian religion. First of all, we have the character Cain, the company that is thought to have run the Amazing Digital Circus is known as CNA, so many have speculated that it could be an acronym for Cain and Abel. Cain is also the first human who was born and not created by God, and he goes on to kill his brother due to his immense jealousy, which was caused by Abel giving better gifts to God. While Cain gave God much less in sacrifice for his sins, maybe Cain had a brother named Abel who he killed or similarly got rid of. But instead of being marked and cast from society like in the biblical story, he was thrown in the digital world, or put himself into it. This point might also be a stretch, but maybe the digital circus is a metaphor for being born again, similarly to how the coming to Christian faith is referred to as being born again. No Mouth and I Must Scream inspiration. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is a short story which was written in only one night about a post-apocalyptic world taking place during World War III. A group of sentient computers end up exterminating humanity and taking over the world throughout the story's plot. The computers, or AM, which stands for an Allied Master Computer, is often referred to as God in the story because they alter and do what they want to the humans held captive in the story. If you've seen The Amazing Digital Circus, Cain is sort of similar to the Allied Master Computer in the fact that he is AI and is in charge of what he wants to do with a group of humans. Gooseworks has even stated that The Amazing Digital Circus is basically quote-unquote I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, with the aesthetic of an I Spy book. Kaufmo. Kaufmo is one of many, as well as the most recent character to abstract in the timeline of The Amazing Digital Circus. We see him first mentioned when it says that he is not present for the show's intro when Pomni shows up. Then, Ragatha and Jax agree to go take Pomni to meet Kaufmo, but found out that he's sadly abstracted. Apparently, Kaufmo's had a long history in the circus. Some of the other characters mention that he has been recently acting strange, and when Kaufmo attacks Ragatha, she profusely apologizes for fake laughing at his jokes. Not much else is known about him, but it's speculated that Pomni was a direct replacement for Kaufmo. Mannequins. The mannequins are the wooden placeholders that are seen a few times in the pilot episode. First, we see them on the door without a red X on them, and then we see them dining with Cain in a restaurant. It's all but confirmed that they are placeholders for the circus members because they appear nowhere else in the show. Character reveal teasers. The character reveal trailers are a group of trailers that aired showcasing all of the main characters from The Amazing Digital Circus. We have showcases for Ragatha, Jax, Gangle, Bubble, Kinger, and Zooble. Fun fact, Kinger and Bubble's videos are actually connected. Behind the scenes. There are several behind the scenes videos for The Amazing Digital Circus. Glitch Productions is pretty well known for showing lots of behind the scenes content from before and after an episode is aired, from the many different stages of animation. In fact, you can find all of the behind the scenes for The Amazing Digital Circus on Kevin Temmer's channel. So if you want to check that out, I have it linked in the description. Foreign language dubs. This is referring to how The Amazing Digital Circus is dubbed into multiple different languages. In fact, if you go to the new audio track feature on YouTube, you can see that it's dubbed into 18 different languages, which I think is pretty cool. Sun and Moon. The Sun and the Moon are two characters that only appeared a few times so far in The Amazing Digital Circus. We see them first when Cain is giving Pomni a look around the circus grounds, but then the Moon gets a bit freaky. Also, in the season 1 trailer, we see the Sun make a threat on Cain's life because there is no written scenes for her, which Cain then agrees to put more scenes with the Sun. And I'm hoping the Sun is not nearly as frisky as the Moon. Jump scare door. Now this one is interesting. Funnily enough, this scene right here became a huge meme in the community. The reason for this is because Glitch posted this scene with a green screen, and you can imagine that the community did some pretty creative stuff with it. Pomni's name is Remember in Russian. This one is pretty self-explanatory, but what's not self-explanatory is the meaning behind it, and I've came up with 3 different things this could mean. The first conclusion I came to is Pomni couldn't remember anything when she entered the circus. I think it's said best by this Reddit user right here. The fact that the word Pomni in Russian means remember is ironic because she doesn't remember anything else besides putting on a headset before getting into this simulation. I mean, for crying out loud, she couldn't even remember her own name, making Cain have to spin the name wheel so so that she could have a name in the circus. The second possible theory I have is that Pomni could be the key for escaping the circus. Now, this one may be a stretch, but let's think about it for a second. We all know that Pomni joined the circus in the same episode that Kaufmo abstracted, and Gooseworks has previously stated that they had to get rid of Kaufmo because there were too many characters in the circus. But we will get back to that in a second. What's most important here is that Pomni was replaced by Kaufmo, and they are both clown archetypes. And if we remember, Kaufmo had the word exit written all over his room. It seems weird to me that Pomni and Kaufmo are the only characters that know of this exit. So maybe Pomni's name being remember in Russian could be a reference to how Pomni and Kaufmo were the only characters that remember the exit. The third theory I came up with is that it doesn't mean anything, but I think this one's pretty unlikely though, because this is just way too big to be a coincidence. Queenie. Queenie is one of the characters who have abstracted and has their face crossed off in the hallway with everyone's bedrooms. She's a black chess piece, and it is obviously somewhat connected to Kanger, most likely romantically. Concept art. Concept art refers to the vast amount of early draft art for the show before they decided on final designs for everything. There is a lot of concept art out there, including Frog Pomni and much more. Kane is a good guy theory. The Kane is a good guy theory suggests that Kane is not actually bad, but is only doing what he believes is best for the humans. I think this could be true, because even though the exit he created in the first episode was fake, he does it because everyone wanted it, but couldn't figure out what to do with it. Criticism of the show. The Amazing Digital Circus is far from having no criticism. If you look at just about anything that's popular, people are bound to hate it. So it's only par for the course that the Amazing Digital Circus has its fair share of haters and criticism. Among the most popular criticisms is that it's cringe, and that it's for little kids. But honestly, I don't think that this is the creator's fault, but rather the community's fault for having, let's say, a weird interpretation of the show. Content farms. Content farms are very well known in the Amazing Digital Circus fandom just because there are so many of them. Content farms are basically large channels that employ many freelance writers and have them mindlessly writing scripts for money, but most of that goes to pay the owners and co-owners of the channel. And while the content is usually mediocre at best, a lot of people will still watch it and make them lots of money. But the worst offenders of this are the low quality animation channels, specifically Hornstop. And I have no idea how they pump this many animations out about the Amazing Digital Circus, but just from one glance at it, you can see that it's not really that good quality, and the voices sound off. I could talk so much more about content farms, but I've made plenty of other videos about that, so if you want to see more about content farms specifically, watch some of my other videos after this video. Bubble likes vomit. In the pilot episode of the Amazing Digital Circus, we see Pomni throwing up on the floor, which Bubble then promptly licks it up to get it off the floor, and eats all of it, which is kind of freaky. Bubble seemed to really enjoy it though, so it's best not to judge. 8 episodes, 1 season. This refers to the confirmed fact that the Amazing Digital Circus will run an entire 8 episodes across 1 season. In a Tumblr post, the creator actually described all of the episodes with one word. The pilot episode is boy, episode 2 is damn, episode 3 is oh, episode 4 is haha, episode 5 is guns, episode 6 is huh, episode 7 is oh, and episode 8 is what? This makes me think that episode 8 will actually leave season 1 on a cliffhanger. And with how much people like the Amazing Digital Circus, I would say that we are definitely getting a second season of the show. Unnamed former characters. This point refers to all of the characters that have a crossed off face on their door in the long hallway with the characters' rooms in them, and it's all but confirmed that these characters were previously a part of the circus, but have since been abstracted. But don't worry, I know you guys are curious about this, so I'll go through them real quick. Starting with the purple dinosaur, the first character we see in the hallway with an X crossed over their face. Second, we got the black chess piece Queenie, who is theorized to be Kinger's wife. I suspect that Kinger might hold the key to her abstraction. Third, we got some ball-looking jester, almost like Pomni, who appears to be exactly the same as her besides her body shape. Maybe this jester-looking guy is who was replaced by Kaufmo. Fourth is the gum monster-looking thing. Fifth is this dog with a long neck. Sixth is this furry toy worm on a rope, which is called a squirmel or a snoot. Seventh is this honestly creepy-looking yellow and blue clown guy. None of the new characters really remind me of him that much, and he honestly looks more like fan art than an actual character in my opinion. He seems to be another early version of Pomni or Kaufmo, and at this point, I'm starting to wonder why there are so many clown characters that have abstracted. 8th is this, which I honestly can't really make out. Let me know what you think this is in the comments below. Existential themes. The Amazing Digital Circus has had quite a few existential themes due to the whole show being about Pomni questioning her new existence in this digital world. Centipedes isn't Ragatha's only fear. It's widely known that Ragatha's only fear is centipedes, but this point suggests that she has another fear that she is keeping a secret from anyone else. And honestly, this wouldn't surprise me because I feel like there is a lot more to Ragatha that we don't know yet, so hopefully we'll find more about her in the later episodes of the season. Cain doesn't let the humans escape the circus because he doesn't know how. This is pretty much proven at this point, at least somewhat, because Cain creates an exit but makes it teleport basically into the middle of nowhere. But maybe he knows more than he's letting on. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Trans allegory. This point refers to the Amazing Digital Circus being a metaphor for an allegory for the transgender experience. A lot of transgender people don't feel like they belong in their body after transitioning, which is pretty much the plot for the Amazing Digital Circus. Gooseworks is a transgender woman, so it wouldn't be surprising if that was somewhat a part of the show's narrative and theme. Pomni was originally supposed to be a frog. According to Gooseworks on her Tumblr, before Pomni was a jester, she was actually a frog in the very early stages of development. Well, this design didn't go very far, and this was probably leaning more towards the idea of a illuminating body inside of a kid's game. The show probably wouldn't have been much different if they ended up going with this design. Gooseworks' drill fetish. This one is a bit strange, and there really wasn't a lot of material to work with, but the gist of the story is that many years ago, Gooseworks made some art with various characters having their heads smashed into by a drill, and when someone asked about it, she said that you can't prove it's a fetish, which made a lot of people very upset for some reason, and people even harassed and doxed her, as well as accusing her for some pretty wild and messed up things. Pomni and Jax were originally going to be gender swapped. Gooseworks has gone on record to say that originally Pomni would be male and Jax would be female, but the idea didn't go far enough for any designs to be created of female Jax and male Pomni. But it makes me wonder how much more down bad people would be if Jax was a female. TheWackyWatch.com. If you didn't know, The Wacky Watch is a secret website where the creators post teasers for the show. This website was first referenced in the pilot episode when Cain got a notification on his Wacky Watch about Pomni entering the void. But on screen while this is happening, you can see a Wacky Watch website URL displayed on screen. And if you didn't know, the content on this website has been changed multiple times. For the first couple of months after the pilot episode released, it would link you to a VHS style advertisement for the Amazing Digital Circus. And a couple months later though, sometime in January, it was changed to this GIF right here of Pomni sleeping in her bed, which caused a lot of speculation about what the inside of her room would actually look like. And finally, a couple of months later, the season 1 trailer dropped, clearing up all of the confusion about this leak. And as of right now, while recording this video, the Wacky Watch is still on this GIF right here of Pomni laying in her bed wide awake. Dr. Football. Now, quite honestly, while writing this video, I had no idea what this meant, so I got curious and ended up looking it up on the wiki. And it turns out that Dr. Football is the name of this mannequin that scares Pomni in the bathroom. This made me wonder though, why is this mannequin named Dr. Football? So I did some digging and found this. But then later, Gooseworks actually posted more context to this by leaking some old plot points from the show. And here we get another bit of information about Dr. Football. She said, quote unquote, Dr. Football is a funny name for a character who is not a doctor and has nothing to do with football. Honestly, this does not surprise me at all coming from Gooseworks. Abstraction makes you leave the circus theory. The form of the characters, from what we've assumed, is based on the personality of the characters. But what if abstracting is the disconnection of the mind from the form? It's the game not knowing what form it should display, and it ends up displaying some sort of abstracted glitchy monster. But I have some proof of that. When someone who is abstracted touches things, they glitch and break, because abstracted people aren't meant to be like that, and a game isn't sure how to handle it. Also, so far, the only abstracted person we have seen is Kaufmo, and he was going insane about it. So what if it was him just leaving? It also makes sense on why Cain can't fix it, because the player's mind is gone, and therefore it no longer exists, and there is no way to fix it. Drown yourself in the digital lake. Drown yourself in the digital lake refers to what Cain says while introducing Pomni to the circus grounds. Jax is Gengar. Now honestly, I have no idea what this means. The only thing that I could think this means is that Jax is Gengar from Pokemon? And honestly, I don't really see a correlation. Besides that Gengar is purple and has a smile. Really, the only correlation that is similar is their teeth, but that's about it. Pomni entered the circus voluntarily. While writing this script, I thought this theory was stupid, but as I thought more about it, I realized that this theory might have actually just solved the Amazing Digital Circus. That might sound crazy, but let me explain. It's widely theorized that all of the past circus members worked at a company called CNA. We also know that Pomni is Kaufma's replacement in the circus. Now that we got all that out of the way, I can tell you my theory. I think that Pomni is a former member of CNA that knew the evil things that were going on behind the scenes. And after a while of seeing her colleagues get trapped in the digital circus, she had enough and went in voluntarily to try to save her friends. The only problem is, she didn't account for the fact that her memory would get wiped. And that's where we are now. Pomni is stuck in the circus with no memories at all. Not even the solution for how to free herself and her friends. The human minds were only uploaded, not transported to the digital circus. One of the more popular theories in the Amazing Digital Circus community is the theory that the human minds or consciousnesses were uploaded to the Amazing Digital Circus, and the cast members we see in the games are not controlled by their actual physical bodies. One piece of proof for this is that when Pomni tries to take off the headset, they grab at their digital face, which wouldn't be possible in a normal VR game. This is also shown to be possibly true when Pomni is in the office and she sees what is insinuated to be her desk with a VR headset that is taken off and left there. Humans were sent to the digital circus as punishment. Now, there's a lot to this theory, so let me give you guys a brief backstory. The Amazing Digital Circus is a computer game that was created in the late 80s or early 90s. We know this because when we zoom out of the computer at the end of the episode, we can see that it all takes place in a computer simulation. We also know that Kane is the AI ringmaster that controls the humans of the circus. And last but not least, the company CNA definitely plays some sort of significance here. Now that we got all that out of the way, we can start to dissect why humans might have been sent here as a punishment. Now, after doing some research, I really couldn't find anything about what the company CNA is. So for this theory, I'm just going to assume that it is some sort of early company from the early 90s that was researching virtual reality technology. And one of the first games that they developed for this headset was the Amazing Digital Circus. And while they were testing the game, one of the humans got trapped and couldn't take the headset off. This is because without them knowing the headset was on, their consciousness got transported into the digital world, and what happened to their body in the real world is unknown. As the years went on, more and more people went missing at the CNA building, going to test out this VR headset, and one by one, their consciousness got trapped inside of the Amazing Digital Circus. But you may be asking, how does this relate to it being a punishment? Well, what if I told you that the person who made this VR headset is actually evil, and fully intended for it to be a trap for people in the world? So my theory is that all of the circus members are former employees of CNA that got sent to try the VR headset as a punishment for not acting the right way at their job. One of Pomni's eyelashes is upside down. This is referring to Pomni's eyelashes, with the right one being under her eye and the left one being under her eye. This wasn't on accident though, as even the plush design has this little detail. Whether or not it has any importance to the show, I'm not really sure. Mirror scene deeper significance. We all know the iconic scene in the show where Pomni is checking herself out in the mirror. The most likely theory I came up with is that this is the first time Pomni was seeing herself as a digital avatar in the circus, and this is why she was checking herself out for so long. And I mean, you can't really blame her, because if my consciousness was transported into this digital world, I would definitely be confused too. The original draft. This refers to an early version of the first episode's pilot. While I couldn't find any known leaks of this, maybe it says do not research because there isn't anything to research. The closest thing to a draft that I could find is some early art that Gooseworks posted to her Tumblr page. Let me know in the comments below though if I'm just missing something here, because I actually just can't find anything about this. Zubal's door icon and consistency. This refers to Zubal's door icon being different from how they look in the episode. If you look closely, they will have a yellow stick and ball out of their head, a purple wing, and a black and white striped arm, and a triangle on their chest, where in the actual episode they have a squiggly line on their head, a red and yellow arm, a pink sharp thing on their back, and a green circle on their chest. Although Gooseworks has stated and shown that Zubal's design will change in every single episode, so maybe this wasn't actually a mistake. The show is an allegory for Gnosticism. This point suggests that the Amazing Digital Circus is some sort of metaphor for Gnosticism, a religion that started in the 1st century AD. People who practice this believe that the real, material world, the one that we live in, is evil, and the only way for salvation is through discovery of the secrets of the universe. There are a few parallels to be drawn here. What I think it means is that the real world was evil, so they escaped into the digital circus to live forever. This could also possibly actually tie into the apocalypse theory, where many believe that the people went into the digital circus because the real world was awful or have been destroyed. Kaufmo faked his death. I saved this one for last because there is a lot more lore behind this one than you might think. But first, you need some backstory. You may or may not know this, but Kaufmo's name seems to be a reference to the famous comedian Andy Kaufman, but there's more than just a resemblance between their names. In fact, one of them is a clown and one of them is a comedian. Gooseworks even calls Kaufmo by the name Kaufman in one of their concept arts. But further down the rabbit hole, you can look at some of the things associated with Andy Kaufman. For some background information, Andy Kaufman was considered to be some sort of anti-comedian and preferred to perform in a way that wasn't traditionally funny. Unfortunately, he succumbed to cancer at the early age of 35. But rumors circulated and people believe that Andy Kaufman never truly died. Of course, he never did reveal himself though. In the wake of these wild rumors, the LA coroner's office released his death certificate to verify that he was, in fact, dead. Back to Kaufmo, who was based off Kaufman, happened to have been effectively killed off in the very first episode. Now, when Kaufmo was a reference to the performer who has a legacy associated with the idea of him faking his death, and Kaufmo, who has been abstracted, effectively unrecognizable as actually being Kaufmo, can we really say for sure that he actually abstracted? As I see it, I could guess Kaufmo being a play on Kaufman's quote-unquote death hoax rumors in one of three ways. Kaufmo faked his death. He put someone else who had abstracted in his room and snuck off somewhere. And he will reappear in a later episode and lead us into the deeper secrets of the digital circus. Number 2, Kaufmo did not fake his death, and the existence of a theory where Kaufmo said he faked his death is some sort of a joke that Gooseworks planned for us as a parallel to Andy Kaufman's rumors while naming him. Absolute 4D chess. Or lastly, the third thing that could have happened is Kaufmo didn't fake his death, but maybe someone else did. And the person who could have done this is potentially Kane. We still don't know of Kane's true motives, so it's possible that he fakes Kaufmo's abstraction to make the circus members more reliant on him, and more afraid of what will happen to them. So what do you guys think? Is this something that Gooseworks thought about while naming Kaufmo? Well, this has been the amazing digital circus iceberg. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Make sure to tell me what you think about the theories on this iceberg down in the comments below. And if you want to see more theories about the amazing digital circus, click on this video right here.